We come to you live at 6 a.m. with the rescue efforts underway after a strong earthquake in Afghanistan. It killed more than 1,000 people. 1,500 people are injured. This is all according to emergency officials there. Many homes have crumbled, and the head of information says some families have completely vanished.
You see a lot of the infrastructure there not built the way things are here in the U.S. So this earthquake was a magnitude 5.9 according to the USGS, and it hit overnight in the eastern part of the country there right near the Pakistan border. Seismologists say the tremors were felt across Afghanistan, Pakistan, and then into nearby India.
Let's get to our local top story here. Finances in the spotlight as some relief could be on the way. So glad you're with us in our 6 a.m. hour. I'm Eric Conrad.
And I'm Neda Irampour. And we are staying on top of a number of big developments in the fight against these rising gas prices, which certainly have impacted us in many ways. President Biden now calling on Congress to suspend the federal gas tax for 3 months. He's also calling on states to follow suit by suspending their taxes. This development comes as local prices are seeing a tiny bit of relief.
CBS 8's Chris Groh is live at Tierra Santa, staying on top of all of the developments for us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Eric and Neda. Look, it remains to be seen. Again, President Biden calling on Congress and states to take action, but will they? That is the question that so many people want to have answered immediately. Now, again, as we move forward into this morning here, President Biden trying to issue immediate relief. That, just to give you an idea of how much relief that could potentially be, is that it's about 18 cents a gallon for gasoline and 24 cents a gallon for diesel. Here in California, we know it's been an ongoing debate, but the tax here is around 50 cents a gallon, and it's scheduled to go up to 54 cents a gallon on July 1st. Now, here's the thing. That could mean as much as $1 off in some cases here with that immediate relief, but it remains to be seen again if some of these gas corporation stations, etc., will pass that savings on to customers, so to speak. Now, as for gas in San Diego, the average price for a gallon of regular is $6.31. That's actually down 1.2 cents from yesterday. It also marks the 7th straight day that prices have gone down, and in those 7 days, it's gone down 6 cents. USD economics professor Alan Jin says it's important to keep a close eye on the longer-term trends.
If it does hit $150 a barrel, as some people are predicting, yeah, that could be trouble. The price of gas could go up over $8 a gallon.
And look, to stay up to date on everything gas related here in San Diego County, as well as what is potentially happening across the country, just go to CBS8.com and click on that story link. Eric and Neda.
Chris Groh, thank you for explaining that for us. Today, new rules will go into effect for the sidewalk vendors who are operating throughout town, and it comes at a time when we are already seeing the very, very busy busy start to this summer. There we go.
Yeah, the busiest one we've had in quite a while, right? CBS 8's Dana Marie McNichol live in Balboa Park, working for you to break down everything that's going to be changing here. Good morning.
Good morning, Eric and Neda. Let me tell you that this area in Balboa Park is really full of street vendors. I spent yesterday walking around enjoying myself, and you could buy anything from lemonade to churros, jewelry. But right now we do see a park ranger behind us, and it could mean that they're looking out for any street vendors because today is the first day they are not allowed to operate.
We're going to have a summer blackout, so to speak, so there won't be any street vendors permitted from now through September.
So there is a summer moratorium on vendors throughout Balboa Park. Now, the City Council approved the new rules earlier this year, bringing San Diego into compliance with a new state law that decriminalized street vending. Under this new regulation, vendors and pushcart operators must pay a $38 permit fee every year, and you can only operate in certain areas. Food vendors will also need to obtain a county health permit and food handler's card. Now, in non-summer months, pushcart vendors need to stay 15 feet away from each other, and they're not allowed on high traffic sidewalks in certain areas of the Gas Lamp, Little Italy, Old Town, and East Village. Anyone who breaks the rules will get a warning at first, but then they could face a $200 penalty. After that, $500. Neighborhood code enforcement and park rangers will be enforcing these rules. Again, we see him right behind me this morning. Now, another spot for the vending is along oceanfront parts and Mission Beach. Certain elements of this ordinance won't be enforced in the coastal areas just yet because the California Coastal Commission still has to weigh in. So vending in areas like Mission Beach and that boardwalk, as well as shoreline parks, will still be up past today. But again, here at Balboa Park and many areas across San Diego, that no vending ordinance starts. For any further information on those regulations, you can head to CBS8.com. I'm Dana Marie McNichol coming to you live.
Dana Marie, thank you for that. New developments now surrounding the man who is still wanted in connection with the killing of his girlfriend. This happened south of the border.
Now, this case started as an Amber Alert in Mexico, and now the mother of Raquel Sabian is speaking out. She never suspected Tyler Adams was a danger to her granddaughter. Denise Hosking says he loved the 7-month-old baby.
He was like no man I've ever seen. I mean, he was usually the one holding that baby. He would feed her. He would do everything.
Adams lived in a University Heights apartment with Sabian and their baby. Authorities found Sabian dead in her car in Tijuana late last month. The baby is safe, still in protective custody. We also spoke with Sabian's father, and he did have some concerns over Adams' behavior. Adams has at least 15 different aliases, as well as a criminal history. You're asked to call the FBI if you have any information. This morning, there's a new non-emergency number you can call in Poway. The city council approved it overnight. Poway Alert connects people with someone if they see something wrong but aren't sure if it's an emergency. Poway Mayor Steve Voss says this is partially in response to the Poway synagogue shooting more than 3 years ago. The tip line is up and running right now. It's 855-562-5378. And just to be clear, people should still use 911 for emergencies.
A top Texas police official blasting the police response to the Uvalde mass shooting. At a state Senate hearing, the head of the Texas Department of Public Safety testified there were enough armed officers in the school hallway 3 minutes after the gunman walked in. But instead of trying to save lives, police waited 74 minutes before breaching what is now said to be an unlocked door. It was not locked after all. So now many victims' families are speaking out.
Please, please, we're begging, get this man out of our lives.
Who you just heard from was the grandmother of 10-year-old Amarillo Garza, whose granddaughter was killed as she tried to call 911. Earlier this month, she received one of the Girl Scouts' highest honors for giving her life to save others. A gun safety bill is now one step closer to becoming a law. The Senate voted to advance this legislation onto debate, and that means a final vote could come later this week. The measure includes millions of dollars for mental health, school safety, and crisis intervention programs. It also lays out incentives for states to include juvenile records in the National Criminal Background Check System.
Well, the summer heat is bringing some wild weather. Some of our CBS 8 viewers called our newsroom, messaged us on social media telling us that they saw lightning, rain, and heard loud thunder overnight. It includes scenes from Escondido near the Welk Resort, and that's not all. How about them rumbles, right? This was the scene overnight in Poway. You could hear the rumbles, you can see the rain there. That is some moisture, folks, that, boy, we have been sorely needing here. It didn't really add up to much, but hey, we're going to take what we can, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was patchy, right? That's the nature of monsoonal moisture, usually over the mountains, but you saw those clouds all across San Diego. It made for such a cool-looking sunset last night. And hey, is that going to happen again today?
Yeah, I mean, a similar sunrise now. It's kind of interesting how along the coast you can have such different things going on versus inland. And really what we've seen is that the majority of wet weather is taking place over our San Diego County mountain ranges. That means they're not really passing through heavily populated areas. However, we did see one system originate in Lakeside and travel up to Poway. Right now, we've seen the bulk of activity taper off, but you can see how just a few hours ago it was around your deserts. Pulling out to the wider look, you can see just how much moisture is feeding in. None of this is associated with a trough of low low pressure per se, as we would usually see it. This is instead that influx of monsoonal moisture, that unstable atmospheric condition that we see where afternoon highs are still warming up really dramatically. I mean, we've got 90s in play for this afternoon. It's not cooling us down by any means, but it starts to kind of play with the conditions out there across the mountains and deserts. So what we could see and what we're expected to see this afternoon as well as tomorrow afternoon is the expectation of isolated thunderstorms across the mountains and deserts. Some of these can originate in your inland valleys and then travel up north. It looks like the majority of them will come as light scattered showers, if anything, for your inland valleys. However, there are many coastal communities that will see nothing today, right? It'll stay dry. Coastal communities only see about a 20 to 30% chance of any wet weather, whereas our mountains and deserts see about a 70% opportunity for those scattered showers to come into play. Here's a live look outside from Mount Soledad. Still a bit hazy out there. This would normally be facing that downtown skyline. Sunrise was at 5:41, so just about 20-30 minutes ago. Sunset is going to be coming at 8 p.m. And so far, conditions out the door right now are not too bad. Mainly 60s on the screen. We're pretty warm overall, warmer than where we were yesterday. All right, let's take a look at the next 12 hours where temperatures are going to be warming up nicely to, in some cases, the low 80s. As far as traffic goes, no major crashes or collisions on the screen there.